Yasser's gang runs 2 Facebook pages to rebrand themselves as a, quote, national force. Multiple mainstream media journalists I spoke to believe the level of fluent English used in those posts could only come from an IDF operation room. So, not surprising from Netanyahu, who, I mean, there's just like nothing that's below them and no level of nefarious and shady activities that is beyond them.
So they've actually done this before. This is why I wasn't surprised by it. They've worked with ISIS before to fight in Syria, specifically against both the Syrian government and Hezbollah. So for them, they have this enemy of my enemy is my friend type approach where they're willing to like ally themselves with Sunni jihadists to go up against, you know, the Shias or the Alawites, and because they view Iran as the biggest threat. Iran is Shia, right? And then they have Hezbollah and Hamas are allies of Iran, and it used to be the Syrian government as well until Assad fell. And so now they've also, and on top of bombing Lebanon and doing a genocide in Gaza, they've also bombed Syria a bunch, and Israel has taken over large swaths of Syria. But even back during the actual Syrian civil war, they were linked to ISIS and Al-Qaeda, and they would arm them. And there was a suspicious lack of attacks. ISIS was attacking like everybody in the region for a while.
Right.
There's one place where they didn't really seem to strike.
Yeah.
Weird, isn't it?
Well, it's also interesting what's going on with the new Syrian government and the Israelis, where there seems to be a bit of a truce there as well. And the new Syrian guy was just basically like, yeah, you can pretty much have the Golan Heights, it's fine.
And you know he made a deal with Trump, right?
Yeah.
The guy, former Al-Qaeda, by the way, who's now the fake president of Syria, he's going to give away large swaths of Syria to Israel. He cut a deal with Trump, basically saying like, hey, the same thing, how you're stealing 50% of all of Ukraine's natural resources, do that to us as long as you're fine with me being president. And then on top of that, there's already allegations of the new Syrian government, led by this former Al-Qaeda guy, already doing basically massive attacks against minority populations in Syria. So
That's great.
that's why it wasn't surprising to me, because Israel has a history of working with ISIS and Al-Qaeda, just as the U.S. does too, by the way. I mean, going all the way back to when Ronald Reagan funded the Mujahideen because they were fighting against the Soviet Union, right? But now it's basically verified, where former Israeli defense minister says it, and then Netanyahu is effectively forced to admit it. But of course, nobody in the media will like connect the dots and be like, well, hold on. Aren't we told that ISIS and Al-Qaeda and jihadists, they're like the mortal enemy of the civilized world,
Right.
the Western world, because they want to set up a global caliphate?
Right.
And these are they're the ones who actually do terrorism. It's not Iran, it's not the Shias that do terrorism, it's the Sunni fundamentalists who do the terrorism. So, hey, isn't it like you're funding the worst people in the world right now? The people that like did 9/11, have done massive other terror attacks. But of course, nobody's going to connect the dots. And it just goes to show you, what's the primary goal of Israel? It's to completely annihilate and exterminate every Palestinian in Gaza, take over Gaza, occupy it, do mission creep in the exact same thing in the West Bank. You know, they want to, like I said, took parts of Syria. They want to create that greater Israel. There was a time where you'd be called a conspiracy theorist for bringing that up. Now it's like the Occam's razor, plain-faced truth.
And they're like admitted in public by members of the government.
Yeah. And now it's also the Occam's razor, plain-faced truth that they're funding ISIS, that Israel is funding ISIS.
Yeah.
So,
incredible. Absolutely incredible. They don't even deny it.